Today, I am going to conquer Minecraft's greatest challenge. Not the Ender Dragon, not the Withered, not even the Warden. No, today I am going to face the most difficult aspect of the entire game. You see, I've been playing in this world for over a year now, and in that time I have actually beaten the dragon, killed the wither, and became best friends with 10 wardens and built a luxury resort out in the Outer End Islands for them. But today I'm about to tackle something far, far more daunting. I'm actually going to finish my starter area. And in order to do this, I've got a secret weapon up my sleeve. Colored wool. Let me explain. So down here, you're going to see a variety of colored wool structures and dotted lines and stuff and colors and things all over the place, and it's a giant mess. But there is a method to the madness here. If I come up here, you'll see we've got some red thingamajiggerses. These are going to be buildings. All of the yellow lines you're seeing all over, those are going to be new paths and a bridge that's going to go in there. The magenta is for patches of trees and foliage. The orange outlines are for new crop fields and plants and crops and animals and that kind of thing. And the blue is for item transportation. You see, I want to take all of the farms that I've got in the starter area and put all of the items into one convenient place right in the middle here. And then that way, when I do come back here, I don't have to fly around between several different farms and try to collect everything by hand. I just want it all in one convenient spot because I'm lazy. And I'm allowed to be lazy because I have a baby at home with very limited time. So I need to be efficient with how I play this game. But by laying everything out like this with the colored wool, it gives me a good sense of where things are going. It gives me the motivation to actually build things because then I can get rid of the weird colored wool structures. And that visualization is just the kick in the pants that I need to finally get this area feeling complete so that I can move on to other things in this world. So without further ado, I am just going to get started, and in true scooter fashion, I am going to bring you in once I've actually got something more to show you. See you in a moment. And there we go. The first stage of today's project is all completed. We've got, well, not any of the buildings here, but we have all of the paths put in around this whole starter area. We've got a whole bunch of new beautiful fields. This one is the spikely prickly pit of doom and death. This is the nice happy azure bluette white flower field. Very wonderful. When we come up the hill here, we have the giant pink pit of pinkness. Around the bend here, we've got the wonderful blue cornflower field. It's nice to have something other than just green in a field. Very wonderful. And I do like the color blue. And behind me, the netherwort field, very bright red. It's a great pop of color in the area, and I do enjoy how it is slightly elevated. It comes down in the different layers here, gives some depth and texture to that. Very, very nice. Now, would you believe me if I told you that between the intro to this video and me completing all of these, it's been a month in real life time? Yeah, that is the life of a new parent. It's a little bit tricky sometimes to find time for Minecraft, but that is okay. That is life, and it's better that I am being a good parent than getting these YouTube videos out in any kind of timely fashion. Yes, in reality, Christmas has come and gone. It's been a crazy few weeks for sure around the house, but you know what? It's end of the year. I'm wrapping up some projects, wrapping up the starter base here, and getting ready for the new year. It just feels fitting to be doing a project like this. Now, the next phase of this project is going to involve the blue and the red lines that you're seeing here. We're going to work on the item transportation lines from the various item farms we've got around the starter area here, and then the storage system. And that's going to be in that central red building just behind my head there. And what I think I'll do is pop over into a creative world and I'll give you a quick demo of how all of the transportation and storage systems are going to work, because it's going to be much easier to explain it there than it is in the world up here, where it's going to be long lines of craziness and convoluted item transportation. So, yeah, let's pop over into a creative world and I'm going to show you what I am talking about. All right, here we are in a creative world, and behind me, you will see the item transportation system as well as a storage system on the right here. Okay, so here is the fundamental system that we're going to use to bring items from our farms over to the storage systems in the world. So pretend that this chest up here is our farm, the input area, and it's got some things in here. So we've got some gunpowder, bamboo, and oak logs in this case. Now I have locked the redstone with the lever here, but this little circuit comparator detects that there's stuff in there. It sends the signal through to the repeater, which creates a loop and tells it to spit out items. I'm not the best at explaining redstone, but let me show you how that works. If I just do that, this is gonna spit out the items just one at a time, sending them, oops, into my hand in this case, but down the water stream quite quickly, actually, across the ice in case I need to extend it past the normal flow of a single bucket of water. And that comes over these hoppers into our storage system. Now, this is the classic Impulse SV storage system. So in all of these hoppers here, we've got the items that we are filtering, and then just some filler items in the hoppers just to make sure nothing else flows in. And then this simple design here with a comparator, the redstone desk, the repeater, and the torch, this locks these hoppers so that it only takes things when this goes over the 41. It allows one item to come down into the chests. And from here, you'll see all of our items are being filtered into the right location. And this is exactly what we are going to use in our survival world to sort and store all of the different kinds of items from the various farms And yeah, it's going to be great. It'll be very convenient, and it's going to be a lot of fun putting it together. Okay, back in the survival world, and our first step is going to be retrofitting all of the different farms so that they can spit out items and those will flow into the central storage system. I should probably build the storage system as well so that the items have somewhere to go, and that's going to go into this big diagonal box. It's going to be great. It's going to be nice and sorted and organized, and I hope it's going to fit. It's those item filters, as you saw, they take up a bit of space, so I have to find a way of making it fit within the box. But you know what? That's a good problem to have. It's easy to create a redstone system and build everything around it after the fact, but it's an interesting challenge if you give yourself some limitations like this. I have a limited space in this future building, and so I'm going to have to fit the redstone into the building in a way that still functions, but in a way that also makes sense for what the structure actually is. So once again, I am going to get to work on fiddling with all of the redstone and getting all these lines in place so that it's ready to go. And then I will show you guys the end result. Be back in a moment. Now witness the power of this fully armed and operational storage system. Sorry. Yes, like the second Death Star, this storage system looks a little janky and incomplete on the outside, but on the inside, she's got it where it counts, and on a technical level, the storage system is fully complete. So as you can see here, I have got all of the storage ready now for the various items that are coming in, and there are a lot of items coming through here. One unique thing is that the poppies from the iron farm are actually being converted into bone meal. There's a tiny little composter back there that you can't really see, but they're being converted automatically. And that's next to the bones, because in the next major update to Minecraft coming sometime later this year, they're adding the auto crafter, and this storage system has been built with extra space in mind so that I can craft things like the bone meal and the bones together into bone blocks. The iron, I have space sort of behind here and underneath that I can automatically craft those into full iron blocks instead of just the individual iron ingots. So, of course, that ultimately means that this project is not actually technically done. I'm going to have to retrofit it again in the future, but I'm all right with that. Now, of course, I still have work to do. The item transportation uh, aqueducts, one might call them, they are not yet complete. Yeah, it's just kind of floating in the air, and we can't have that. And of course, the building itself that's housing the storage system is entirely open to the elements, which we can also not have. Now, before I go ahead and finish all of the different buildings and clear all the red wool, I want to remind you of the design philosophy that I've got going on in this world. So this area is essentially a little hobbit village. I've got my main starter base hobbit hole and various other hobbit holes scattered across the landscape. There's Screaming Hill, aptly named. And over here I have the spawn tower, the bamboo farm, my iron farm, and other ruins here like my sniffer enclosure. And the idea is that these hobbits have settled in a valley that is populated with a bunch of ancient ruins. And now as I finish off the starter area, the story that I'm telling is that these hobbits have found a way to take all of the items from these old ancient item farms, build these wooden structures to carry them all the way into the middle and then their own little storage system here. But then on the outside, this is still going to be a ruined building. It'll look very old and worn. Makes sense? Perfect. Let's get on then with building the rest of the buildings here and filling in the various magenta polka dot areas around the base with all the nice foliage and trees and other things that are going to make this feel fully, finally complete. So let's get started on finishing up, shall we? I can't believe it. This is actually happening. I can't believe this is actually happening. This is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, my base is done. There's nothing left for me to do. It's all done. I completed everything I wanted to in this base area. It feels like it took forever to accomplish that. And in reality, it's been 2.5 months since I started this episode. And the whole process, of course, has been over a year now working on the same area. But I kind of like it. So I'm going to take a few moments then to show you guys around the base, highlight some details you might not otherwise see. And then we're a wrap on this base. I get to start something new and different after that. Who knows what that's going to be? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take a tour. And starting here, actually, this is one of the new ruined towers that I've built in the area. And this houses a mechanism which brings some of the items that are coming through from the different item farms and it spits them out along this waterway here to the central storage building, which also looking pretty nice. We'll take another look at that in a moment. Coming down through here, but yeah, there's basically these gaping holes. The floors are kind of falling away. It's dangerous, it's rickety, and you come through here and there's the mechanism that's working just fine, and the path doesn't even go anywhere. It just sort of leads off into nowhere. That's how old and overgrown this is. Moving along here, so just below this big tower I showed you a moment ago, next to the sugarcane farm, I've set up a little drip leaf parkour for myself. Am I any good at parkour? No, not really. But when has that ever stopped me? So now let's see if I can get this. I've practiced a little bit. Let's see if I can do it first try for the YouTube video. I can edit out any mistakes. Oh, I might have to leave that one in. Okay, first try number 2. Ready, and go. First try number 3. I'm getting it. I'm gonna get it. And I did it. He did it. He did the parkour. And the crowd goes wild. Thank you for indulging me. Moving on. So as promised, here is that storage building. It's great. I love it. I love the diagonal wall. Everything's old. It's ruined. It's in essentially the same style as the spawn tower over here, which had a lot of darker blocks at the bottom, up to towards the lighter at the top. On the outside here, where I have the water streams coming in, another little detail I added is just here you can see the mossy bricks, signifying that's where the water damage is coming through. Very happy with that little detail. And if we come on inside, we've got random chests and tiny little chests. Tiny little barrel. Nothing to see here. And this leads up into the storage area, which I showed you all earlier. I have a bit of a melon problem, as you can see. And all through here, I've added tons and tons of trees and flowers and even little mushrooms. And all of this is hand placed. Like I've gone through, I planted every single tree. All of these flowers, they're ones that I specifically planted. It's not the ones that just normally spawn on the ground. And I think you'll agree, it's a pretty good effect taken at a scale like this. Like if you're struggling to find what you should be building in your base, don't underestimate the power of some good old leafy foliage. Trees and flowers and bushes and grass can make a major difference in making your base feel alive and full and lived in. And that is your Please Plant More Plants PSA from your friendly neighborhood scooter. Now, speaking of plants, one of the other things I did was around all of the old buildings like this, I've planted a bunch of torch flowers and pitcher pods. And I didn't plant those anywhere else. It's only around the old buildings that I've planted these ancient flowers, which I think just feels fitting. Just something to add a little bit of extra history and story to the world. But you know what I mean? Like when we walk through here, gosh, this was a barren hill before. It was kind of ugly. But now we've got trees everywhere. You only see the field when you're right on top of it. It counterintuitively, sometimes blocking the field of view makes everything look better because you only see a little bit at a time, and what little bit you do see pops out. Instead of just seeing the whole base all from one vantage point, you have to go through, you have to explore, you have to investigate and see what's behind every branch, every tree trunk, every pig, every chicken. I'm also pretty happy with how the support structures turned out for the little item transportation waterway thingamajigger. I've got lanterns hanging from it. I think that's very nice. And again, just more flowers, more trees, more pigs. Who doesn't love a good pig, right? Now let's fly up here and see. Yeah, look how much more full that is. So many trees. So much more life. Like I feel so happy with the base in this state. All right, now there are three final things I want to show you. Let's start with the first one, which is very fun. Down here in the little pond, I have got a bunch of little axolotls. Look at them. They're so happy. They're so swimmy. I had four of them. I don't know where the other two went. They might have swum away, but that's all right. I'm filling up the waterways with axolotls because, they're endangered. You gotta preserve the endangered species and make little baby axolotls. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him go. Ah. Very important component of the base. The second thing I want to show you is in this little hobbit hole here. If we come on inside, this is my adventuring hobbit hole where I've got fun things like the dragon egg and some of the pottery from my archaeological expeditions. And on the wall here, this is an old map of the world. You can see some of the structures. There's the spawn tower, my melon and pumpkin farms. This is us here. It's okay. You can see the paths and some of the buildings and things like that. And uh, I decided we needed to update this. And so I updated it. And my goodness, look at the difference. Here is the old one, and here is the new one. There's so many more paths. You can actually see all the water systems coming across there. It makes me extra glad that I decided to go with the diagonals. I think that's a really cool effect that gives. Like I've got the bridge, I've got the crop fields. It just looks so much more complete because it is complete because I completed my base. I still can't get over that. And now the final thing I want to show you all before we call this base truly complete is something a little bit more personal, a little bit more heartfelt, and that is a time capsule. So let me open it up here and I'll show you guys what's on the inside. So this is my January 2024 time capsule. It's got a lot of goodies, a lot of fun things like the relic music disc and some totems of undying and a pair of wings and some enchanted stuff to enchant the wings, sniffer eggs, diamonds, some cake, and fun stuff. And in the middle, a note for my son. Now, I'm not going to read that note for you because it's something personal to him. And my hope is that one day, whether he watches this video or not, one day I hope that he will want to play Minecraft and I'll get him an account and we'll get set up and then I'll invite him to join this world and see the things that I've built while he was in his mom's belly and then as a little baby. And I just want this note to be something for him that he can look back on and be like, oh, that's what my dad was thinking back in, those early days when I was just an infant. So, little buddy, if you are watching this, hi, how's it going? Hello to the future. And I hope you find this time capsule. I am going to show you guys, everyone, where I'm burying this so that it's not crazy hard for him to find. So let's gather that up and we'll drop to the bottom of the spawn tower. And I think this corner will do nicely. Let's just dig down a little bit. Down to the rock. Place the time capsule. And a little root of dirt to show where it is, along with a little soul lantern, just to signify exactly where this thing is buried. And with that, everybody, the base is done. But of course, my videos are not. I have many, many, many things I still intend to do in this world. I have new bases to build, new things to conquer, and things to explore, and treasures to find, and adventures to be had. And yeah, I'm not stopping anytime soon. Again, I want to do everything there can be done in the game, and that takes a long time, and a game is infinite as Minecraft. But at least for today I am done. I am done the recording, I'm done the base, and now I get to do the fun editing, which I do not mind. I've kind of missed actually over these last few months, to be honest. So I'm going to get to work on that, and I'll leave you guys with a little cinematic time lapse of the base. And I just hope that you enjoy watching as much as I have enjoyed making all of this. I mean, chances are I've enjoyed it a little bit more because I actually got to go and be the one building it, and you just can't beat that, can you? But wherever you are, I hope that you are all having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, evening, midnight, 3 a.m. Maybe you're awake in the middle of the night watching these videos with your own baby. That would be a funny coincidence, but if so, hopefully they go to sleep for you. And with that, have a wonderful 2024. I shall see you all next time.